Remember being in school when I was younger and kind of just like thinking about what my future probably had in mind for me. Kind of the basic idea of, okay, you go through school, go to college, get a job, work for it for X amount of years, and then retire, whatever. And even though I know that's a dream for a lot of people, for me, that just seemed like the most boring thing ever. I was I actually like started like really getting depressed, like thinking about that. Like, dude, if this is what my life is gonna be, if I'm gonna have to do like go through this really boring school that doesn't even like stimulate me because it's just a bunch of redundant memorized stuff that I can't even really apply to like my life and actually apply or whatever. Then have to work at a job for too many hours, spending my life slaving away just to pretty much make ends meet and then grow old. And, once I get old, not really gonna have the energy to do all the things that I want to, and then essentially die. It's like, dude, fuck that. I'd rather kill myself. And I got really depressed thinking that this is what my life was gonna be. So I decided, okay, I can't let myself do that. I'm not going to do what everybody else is. I'm gonna start going my own path. So I started doing things like getting into entrepreneurship, building businesses, doing things to separate myself because I wanted to be part of like the top 1%, whatever that means. Whether that means having like a amazing body, having a lot of money, having business like success, whatever, having the best level relationships, whatever it is, I just wanted to be like in the top tier. I wanted to win rather than be average like everybody else. That was kind of like my big motivation. And, honestly, in terms of like mental health, I think that this has been the best thing for me because I can't even like understate it. Like I was super depressed when I was younger, and it was because I thought my life was just it just had to be like this way. I thought life was supposed to be like boring for everybody, and I was like, yeah, I just don't really want to live. I don't think I would have ever actually like killed myself, but it's just like, dude, life is gonna be so boring. But yeah, being able to at least work on some of the things that I want to work on the progress and like actually having a chance. I just realized that's the life I'd rather have, even if that means failure. Like even if I never become successful in whatever area of life that I want to, I'm happier dying knowing that I actually tried rather than having that dream and giving it up because I was too afraid and I needed that security and whatever. There's of course a chance that I'm full of shit and eventually, they'll reach a time where I've experienced so much failure and, I just feel the need to settle down and like get stuff in order. And eventually I just like choose a safe route. I mean, that could happen to be honest, but at least right now I'm, I've really been thinking, okay, I'm going all in. I have to make this work because the alternative is just a super boring, monotonous life that is pretty much like everybody else's. And while that may be okay, because I'm only guaranteed this one life, I might as well shoot for the stars. I might as well go for the highest quality of life or the best experience of life that I possibly can because it feels just like a waste if I don't do that. Part of that I noticed is that a lot of the people in your like immediate environment, you're not going to be like them in a lot of ways. You're going to be a lot more different. You may be even like be labeled as weird. Um, and I think that's just the cost. I mean, obviously, if you're not like the average, everybody, like everybody else, you're going to stand out in a way. And I don't really think that's a bad thing. I think that's just proof that maybe you're doing something right because, I mean, maybe just everybody else is probably doing something wrong if they're staying average. If you're different because you're doing things differently, if you think a different way, if you move in a different way, you're not going to be average. You're, separating yourself from them, if that makes sense. I think too many people choose the safe route because it seems safe, but to be honest, the safe route isn't even that safe. Like if you look at the broader picture, it seems that taking risk is actually the safer option in a weird way because I guess if you just see the way that the world is growing and evolving, whatever, if you stay doing whatever the norm is, you're going to get fucked. Excuse the language, but I mean, it's true, or at least from what I can tell. So, it's probably better to take risks to try and do something different so that you can thrive in the future rather than suffer